low, trying to erode my energy, so I'm on the road. I be curving on.
Yeah, good fam, what's up, you guys? This is your girl Shiro back with another episode of Kenyan Plug Pod. This is episode 39, season 2, episode 9. You know, you guys are making moves out here. Thank you guys for being with me from day 1, day 2, or if you're just recently joining me on this journey, thank you guys for being with me. Make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're letting everybody know when the plug is plugging so that we can keep growing. Unfortunately, fam, I will not be recording next week. So next week, you will not be getting a new episode of Kenyan Plug Pod, but you will be getting a new episode of Sheng with She. I'll be back in November with a new episode, and that is right. November is here, okay? Just 1 week away. November itakuwa tu. You know, and when a new month is approaching, I have to keep on reminding you about that victory lap. Get your Kipchoge on, okay? Last month, we have to channel the Kipchoge spirit so that we can be like that, limitless people. After party sasa ni chapati after chapati. Na wasee sasa wanaanza kukula chapati na watermelon. It's beyond me at this point. And the parodies, and that's what's happening right now. And actually, let's move into the socials of the week. My initial one is the Future one. When Future is doing this interview, I don't even know anafanya interview wapi. Future is a recording artist, and Future is doing this interview with some, say, I don't even know who, and he's sitting there and anaulizwa questions, or they're looking for him to say something, and say is just sitting back. He's just sitting back like whatever. And I was like, this is so mood. Oh my goodness, this is so mood. Because imagine like ukiulizwa math degree questions, like when you go home for holiday or whatever it may be, and they're asking you third degree questions, and when are you going to get married, or when are you going to have a baby, or when are you going to start your career, or what are you going to do after uni. Wakianza kuuliza all those questions, now wapatie to the future look. There's so many times where I feel like exactly that. I don't have any answers for you. Zero. And that is a mood. And then so this guy is on the back of a diesel truck. Come on, guys. Nakasuit. Amevaa like sasa watu wanamuita Vin Diesel, and that is hilarious to me. So you guys, hopefully you have enjoyed the socials of the week. Kenyans are hilarious. They don't stop with the jokes, and that's why I love my people. So the Kenyan excellence for this week happens to be Eluid Kipchoge again, because they tried to take his record away. They walijaribu kusema ati sasa alikuwa na cheat, is disqualified. There were so many other things that happened, and it made it wasn't an actual marathon. So many things wameanza kusema sasa. But initially when he was doing it, they were talking about how it's going to be world record breaking, and it's going to be here, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. Lakini when the guy does it, and he does it under the 2 minutes, wanaanza kusema, oh no, he had on some shoes that gave him some extra. Nike gave him that advantage, that unfair advantage to beat the clock. But Msei has already been beating the clock, and actually last time he was just a minute over. And now they are saying, oh, because he did it under 2 minutes. Unajua, there's something here. The point of this story, and the moral of this story is that when you are excellent, and you're brilliant, you're excellent, you're skillful, you're talented, they will always try to diminish your level. They'll always try to bring you down and try to say, oh no, there's these qualifications here, there's these qualifications there. Like try to make it seem as if you're not as great as you are. Kwanza, there's such a slap in the face for them to try to kuanza kusema maneno. So I'm hoping Nike makes some Kipchoges, some Kipchoges too. Nike definitely needs to show up on this one, because Nike is the reason why Kipchoge was not. There's so many things that they're saying, but Nike definitely has to deliver on that conversation piece of will he get shoes, will he not get shoes. I hope Kipchoge gets shoes, because I would wear them, I would rock them. So I know a lot of other Kenyans would too, especially because we're proud right now. We're proud. And they're trying to take that pride away. That is Kenyan excellence, That's the ability to make everyone proud, the ability to actually accomplish something that no one else has done. Hiyo ni kitu ya kusema bravo. And that's why we are saying bravo here on Kenyan Plug Pod. This week's conversation is toxicity. Being toxic and toxic behaviors. Toxic behaviors, there are plenty of them. Kuna watu wengi that are toxic all the time. Unaweza ongea na mtu na una feel tu energy yake ni negative, toxic. Unasema tu, I steer clear of that person. I don't want anything to do with that person because you're toxic. But have you ever thought about what toxic energy or what toxic behaviors you have or toxic habits? For me, one of the biggest toxic habits that I have is the ability to change the narrative. Me as a PR student, as a PR major, know how to spin stuff. Kuna watu wengine hata they will not argue with me because I know how to flip that situation so quick that you feel guilty for what you've done. And it's a toxic trait, and I definitely have it. And I definitely want to stop it, and it's actually something that I've been working on as I go on this journey of self and evolution, and it's something that I used to survive. There's something that people have said a lot of times is that you've learned things along your way that are good for you for your survival, lakini they're not good for you for your next steps. And that is something that I want to let go of, because manipulation at the end of the day is not a good thing. You don't want to manipulate anyone into believing that you're better or you're worse or it's their fault. You don't want to guilt trip anyone. Lakini when your back is against the wall, you have to put your fighting gloves on and you have to start doing whatever you have to do. But that is how I survived through certain things of my life. It's something that I want to drop here today because I know it is a toxic trait, especially when you have someone that you are taking seriously. When you're taking life seriously, and when you have someone in your life that you want to take seriously, you have to start realizing that Kenya nafanya sio mzuri. Like, what I'm doing is not a good thing actually, because it's hurting someone. It's making them think so much when they go home or when they're alone, that they start thinking that whatever you've done is actually their fault, because manipulate story so well that they start thinking like, oh my goodness, it's me who's the problem, and the whole time it's not even their fault. So yeah, it's a toxic trait that I have, but I accept it, and I am accountable for it, and I acknowledge it, and I want to change it. But that's how you do toxic traits. Lakini watu wengi, they don't even care about their toxicity. They just know like, I'm toxic and I don't care. So I looked up some toxic traits, and the first thing, of course, is manipulation. So manipulation is definitely toxic. Judgmental behavior is toxic. Taking no responsibility for your own feelings is toxic. Not apologizing is toxic. Being inconsistent is toxic. You have to prove yourself and prove your point. That's toxic. And defending yourself at all times, you're toxic. So all of those things really basically so all of those things kind of define what I just said in the beginning. It's your fault, and manipulating the story and spinning it to making someone believe that they're the one who was the actual problem. That's manipulation. That's defending myself, and that is not taking responsibility for what I've done and my actions. So yeah, that's a lot of toxicity, and I should not even be admitting to this, but I want to take us on a journey, and I want us to be better. And so yeah, that's a common thing that we do. We are manipulative, we judge people, we don't take responsibility for our own feelings, our own anger, our own everything. We just want everyone to be the problem, and we are just the saints here. We sit here like angels, and we have not done anything wrong. Hiyo ni uongo kabisa. So let's talk about it. So toxic traits. And yeah, there's a lot of people I've been noticing that the conversation about being toxic has been more and more, but we have to understand that we are getting into this place where emotional intelligence is a really big deal. It is very important for people to start to understand their emotional selves, and I think it's a very hard thing, especially for us where we come from, the people that come from African descendants and African households. We have to first identify with the fact that we do have emotions, and then we have to figure out how to control them, understand them, and not manipulate others with our emotions. I think there's a lot of things that we have to do as African people. We have to kind of do a crash course on emotions, because siwezi sema for everybody, lakini for a lot of African people, we grew up in a house that emotions ilikuwa kitu kama weakness. You don't talk about emotions. Emotions was like one of those taboo things. So saizi, as we become adults, we have to tackle this thing about emotions. We have to tackle toxicity. We have to tackle emotional intelligence. So sasa, we have to ring in emotions. We have to understand them. We have to tackle those things, make sure we are representing our emotions correctly. Alafu, we have to make sure that we're not being toxic with our emotions. Tuko na homework. It's too much work. Lakini it's something that we need to do, because if you're toxic, alafu unaanza kushindwa kwa nini maisha is treating you like hell, why you living in your own personal hell, because you're toxic all the time. Toxicity is self-sabotage, by the way, if you don't know, because who wants to be around someone that's toxic? Nobody. It's negative and negative behavior, negative nastiness. Nobody wants it. Keep it to yourself. Vilenisema last week, negativity sio kitu we have to study. It's just something that we are naturally good at. Tunaweza anza kuwa negative without even mtu like without a push. So being positive is one of those things that we have to do. We have to be positive. We have to constantly try to be positive, because it's something that is a must. But if we just like, oh, I'm good the way I am, I don't want to change, mtu hawezi change, mimi niko sawa sawa the way I am, hakuna mtu ame complain, niko na pesa. If you have money and you're toxic, especially if you have money and you're toxic, that's when things get even crazier, because who's going to stop your formula? Why would someone change the way you are? Because you see yourself and you see your money and you see your possessions and you see your life, you're like, I'm good. I don't need anybody to change me. Kumbe, the whole time you're so toxic and so crazy, hakuna mtu anataka kudeal na wewe. Nobody wants to deal with you. So criticism is toxic behavior, by the way. So this goes out to all of the family members when you're gonna so much to say, and it's so nasty and so crazy, and it makes someone go to sleep kichwa iko in pain, because unaanza kufikia like, is this true about me? Am I really this person? Am I this way? Am I that way? Na kumbe tu ni mtu amekwambia kitu that was just nasty and toxic. And right now we're just talking about toxic people. Don't even get started on toxic relationships and what people do in toxic relationships. Yeah. Because if you just think about all the things that people do when they get into relationships, and they start feeling themselves losing a grip on control, they start thinking like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to lose this person, let me start being toxic and try to guilt trip them and try to tell them that, hey, you know, when we got together you looked good, like in size you've gained a couple of weight, a couple of pounds. Kumbe, it's just love weight, you're just gaining some love weight. It's something you can lose. Like if you start believing your partner and you start believing what they tell you, guess what? Unaanza ku believe that you're such a mess. Yes, no one else can love you. Kuna this situation right now, girl has been with her man, they've been doing this relationship thing, and they're having some rough patches, and the guy even has the audacity to say, oh, you can't leave me because no one else can love you like I love you, no one else will deal with you like I deal with you, no one else will, no one else. That's how when you hear that no one else ka story kila siku, every day, every time you get into an argument, unaanza ku believe that, hey, truly, no one else can be with me, no one else will want to deal with me, no one else can love me like this guy. That's why you're stuck in this relationship. It's a toxic relationship. Now you don't know how to get yourself out. So how do you get yourself out of a toxic relationship? You look at yourself, you see yourself for who you are, you fall in love with yourself, and you heal yourself. I don't think people take the time out to heal themselves. I think people like get from one relationship of toxicness where mtu anakuambia you're not this, you're not that, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that, and then you courage yourself up, you get enough strength to leave that relationship, and after next thing you know, you jump into something where it's completely opposite of that relationship that you were last in. Like mtu akikuongelesha vibaya, you find someone that is so sweet to you. Oh, you're so sweet, you're so loving, you're so wanakupatia all of that thing that you are missing from your last relationship. Alafu you find out something new about this new relationship, and you're finding that, oh my god, I made the wrong decision. Alafu you give yourself no time, and then again you're in another relationship, or you're just in this smash session. You're smashing paka you're just you're giving yourself out to everyone, and then you're wondering, oh, why am I in this mess, why am I at this place in my life? Kumbe, because you've been living a toxic life and you've been in toxic relationships and toxic dealings until you lose yourself completely. So the thing that you have to do is heal yourself. You have to recognize who you are. You have to really be interested in who you are and who you're becoming or who you want to become. And then you heal yourself, you love yourself, and then you tell yourself, never again in life will I allow this type of thing. Oh, you know, I need someone to validate me. I need validation from this, and this. Because growing up, especially in our kind of households, we are looking for our parents to say you did a good job, our aunties to say, hey, you see how that girl is doing, or we still even today but tunajaribu kutafuta mtu mwenye atakuvalidate, and we're looking for someone in our family to validate us. And that's how we have been growing up, and that's how we've been living. But when you finally truly fall in love with yourself, your talent, your ability, you start realizing like, I don't need anyone to validate me. I just need to validate myself. And how I validate myself is by working on myself consistently to remove those toxic traits that I have and all those things that I grew up with. Because imagine if we grew up in a household where you're getting criticized all the time, or in an environment where criticism is like the form of language, you know, which most of us did, you know, you start realizing like, even when you get older, you start being critical about things all the time. You're being critical. And that is toxic traits. So when you finally fall in love with yourself, you're like, hold up, I don't have to be critical about everything. I can actually be chill about certain things. Kuna vitu zingine that are just not my business, and I'll sit out of this one. And that is that's healing. So if you want to heal yourself, you have to first say, okay, these are the toxic traits niko nazo. These are the toxic traits that I have. These are the things that I have to work on, and these are the things that I need to get rid of. Lakini ukisema tu, I'm okay, niko sawa sawa, there's no problem with me. I've never done anything wrong. I'm rich. I'm together. I have money. I have a husband. I have and you go through your whole life being toxic and thinking like, what's up with everybody else? What's wrong with everyone else? Because mi niko sawa, lakini kila mtu mwingine ako na problem. And that's toxic, because you don't even want to look in the mirror and say, I have a problem here. See, I have a problem. For real. I'm not the person that I've assumed I am this whole time. I'm toxic. Lakini, who really admits that at a certain age? Right now, in these 20s, is the time for you to say, okay, so right now I have to get myself together, and I have to put myself together enough to clear myself of all toxicity. Like, your greatness is inside of you. It's waiting for you to tap into it. Like, if you are just listening to everyone and everyone's opinion about you, and you keep on manipulating yourself, even with your past and things, and making yourself victim, and so many things that you can do, self-sabotaging yourself. Like, when do you say no? When do you say, stop it, I'm not going to be toxic anymore, I choose to be positive? You have to choose these things in life. Otherwise, you're just going to recycle the same life that others have lived before you without checking themselves. You have to check yourself. And I think that's one of those things that we hate to do the most. We hate to be vulnerable, but who are you going to be vulnerable with if not yourself? So make sure you guys are definitely checking yourself and seeing if you have toxic traits, because they're not cute. They're just not cute. So that is the topic of this week. Noma for me this week is the essence of empire, the essence of having a legit strong family, strong support system, to where you can really build something major. I think what we have done is we have become so critical about other people. Initially, kitambo, in the beginning, the family held that status, that legacy, that empire was within the family. Lakini siku hizi tunapigana, we are so fighting each other, we are so critical of each other, we want to be on top of each other so bad. It's such a big power struggle. Pako tunasahau like the basis of what family is. Family is supposed to be the person you trust the most, the people that you are able to divide responsibilities with, so that you can build this one massive empire, this one massive legacy. I want to be the head of the family. I want to be the one the family is recognized. I want to be the one to make the decisions in the family. You're messing up. That is something that is supposed to last forever. Your legacy kind of thing, that kind of power is gone because sasa greediness it has taken over of family. Like greediness has become the bonding tool for family members to talk about how much you're getting, how much money niko nayo, like how much I'm doing good in my business, I'm doing good in this and this, instead ya kusema hey, naona you're starting a business, wacha nikusaidie, like this, let me show you my first steps of how I build my business. Let me show you, because we all have people in our family that have kind of like that have been successful. We have people that we can call to be successful. Lakini tunaweza piga hiyo, can we really truly call that person and say what kind of methods did you use to become the person you are? Hakuna mtu anataka kupatia those secrets of how they became who they are. And I feel like that is something that's really holding us back. And once we finally get that toxic energy out of our families, we can go back to the days where legacies and we can go back to the time where you can build something that can last within your family. When we start taking away those judgmental attitudes and negative behavior, those things really blow me. They really blow me for sure. So that's my problem of this week, so it goes hand in hand with the toxic topic. And then lastly, what has excited me, hey Minibamba this week, and this is from my artist. I see Baraka, aka Swahili Papi, has plugged us to United Masters. You guys check it out.
Welcome to United Masters, the only app that lets you release music right from your text messages. Once you've downloaded the app, just click on the file and select the United Masters logo. Your song will upload automatically. After the upload is complete, give your song a name and fill out the credits. Now select your album art. Then pick a release date and send your music to all the streaming platforms. It's as simple as that. And that's just the beginning. After your music is live, check the app regularly to see how your music is performing. You're on your way. Download the United Masters app, available now in the App Store. Your own record company in one app.
United Masters. And this is a distribution company. As amesema hapa, it takes like no longer than 10 minutes to upload this thing, upload your music, and it's available to all platforms. This is a very good move, and I think that many artists should definitely follow this move, because kama inachukua like less than 10 minutes to upload your music, kwa nini, why not? Like, you should do it. And legit, like, I'm going to put it in the description down below. And make sure you guys are checking it out. Artists, make sure you check it out. I've done 2 artist plug right now of 2 dope artists, Nufa 23, Jack Quill. These people are dope, and I think that it's necessary that they find good deals, because stifle artists still in 2020 itakuwa too shameful. So make sure you guys are educating yourself on what possibilities you have and what options you have, because Kamai United Masters is something that you should check out. Basi, check it out and put your music up so that you can be noticed from global perspectives. Sio tu Kenya unagoja for Kenya to play your music, sitachoka, you'll just be sitting there forever. Lakini if you find yourself here, finding yourself, and this is not something ati amejaribu kujifunga nayo. Like, he's not trying to hide this thing, or he's trying to keep it under wraps. He's letting you know, like, these people, United Masters, it takes less than 10 minutes to upload your songs. They distribute it for you. Basi. So you join the train. Don't feel like you're being unoriginal. Just feel like you're about to get to that bag, okay? So yeah, that was definitely the hit of this week. Artist plug. You guys have just been plugged in. I hope you guys move on this, please, because I can't wait to hear the Kenyan music everywhere. And this has been episode 39. Fortunately, fam, I will not be back to close October off with you guys, but you guys have plenty of content to catch up on, to make sure you're catching up on all of the content, and I will be seeing you in November. Yes, a victory lap, don't forget about it. Get your Kipchoge on.
So I put my trust in that mirror, man. Speak less and walk through storms, come out strong. You see the flex on my chest, man. I'ma need an S. Really feel like I could be the best. Most these rappers been my